Women-owned small businesses saw $2.3 billion less in federal contract dollars than in 2024. The WOSB program is severely underused and the goals are unmet. Can you speak to how bolstering this critical program might help small businesses and the industrial base?
Yeah, absolutely, and thank you for that question indeed. So I think in general, before you get to the woman-owned small business specific, though, I think you have to accept the fact that there are more barriers to entry into federal contracting as a whole. So I would say that across the board, it's hard to get companies to, again, enter into federal contracting. And then as you narrow into the woman-owned small business, you have to ensure that they're mentored and trained and understand all the requirements and regulations in order to succeed. And when I was on the National Women's Business Council a few years back, that was really the focus. You can bring them to the federal contracting world, but you really have to ensure that they will succeed in it. And I think that's definitely a focus of mine in terms of making sure that we are mentoring and training and working together as partners in that federal contracting world. Small business community is very close, and we do tend to want everyone to rise and succeed. So I think it's imperative that, again, we continue to look at what the red tape is to get into federal contracting, that we minimize it. I know the administrator is working on that. The access, again, to capital so that women-owned businesses can succeed and grow. And overall, just be able to have a conversation and communication direct with the government, which I will say, in my years of experience, I'm thrilled to see that there is strong communication right now between the small business leaders and specifically Defense Logistics Agency. I've never seen the support right now because I think they recognize the need and the imperative nature of making sure that these businesses thrive.
Appreciate that. And then, Mr. Friedman, you write that several of your product components can't be sourced in the U.S. and that, quote, tariffs will eliminate profits and put this innovative technology into a loss position. Can you just expand a little bit upon that and sort of the impacts you're seeing? Thanks.
I'll be happy to. Thank you. So, yeah, tariffs are definitely a challenge, especially when you don't have the time to plan for them, because oftentimes we're pricing products for retail and giving those price points well in advance. And we've had the situation where tariffs have hit us in a way that we had to absorb a lot of that additional cost. But we show adaptability, and where it created some challenges for us, it also created opportunities as well in terms of, because we are a manufacturer, people actually asked us if we could manufacture for them as a U.S.-based company. So there are challenges with it, but there are also benefits.
Thank you for that. I see my time's expired. Happy birthday, America. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. I now recognize Mr. Muser from the great state of Pennsylvania for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all for being here very much. We're glad to be with you. It seems like a very strong and positive discussion we're having, so that's very important to hear. I spent a lot of time helping grow a small business to a large business myself for almost 25 years, and sometimes when people say, what's it take? I say, well, find out what you like, be committed to it, and in 20 years you might have something. Yeah. So there's a lot of, the environment matters. Of course, small business accounts for 99% not employment, but of the businesses, about 60% of the employment. So it's really truly the proverbial but literal backbone of the United States economy. Taxes, regulations, skills development, workforce, overall environment that can be created within a state. State regulations, like in Pennsylvania, matter a lot. We're very, very overly burdened with regulations in Pennsylvania. We need to change that versus Florida, Georgia, the Carolinas, Tennessee, Texas, where all the jobs are going to. Consumer demand, I mean, that's a big part of government, right? Making sure that interest rates are there, access to capital, of course, all of those regulations. But outside of that, well, there's an old saying too, you just get out of my way, which you probably say on occasion. But then again, from OSHA and many of the other regulations and workers' compensation, all these things are definitely necessary. There's a reason. I just looked this up. The EU in 1995 had a GDP of $8.3 trillion. So 800 billion more than the United States. We were at 7.6. Today, the EU is at 21.2, and we're at 30 trillion. So we're obviously doing a lot right as far as growing an economy. Just based upon the conversations and statements you've been making, and Ms. Moore, I'm going to start with you, if you don't mind. I'm from Long Island originally, by the way, so I see your business is in Hauppauge, and I grew up there, and I remember Grumman extremely well. I think everybody worked at Grumman there for a while.
They did.
But congratulations on your business. What if you were sitting in my seat? If you were making some of these governmental rules and all, what do you think you need to make you grow better over the next 5 years?
Yeah, thank you, and happy to hear that you're from Long Island. I think right now people need to recognize that, first of all, small businesses and manufacturing to me is a center aisle issue. Everyone should support small businesses and manufacturing. And at the end of the day, no matter what decisions are happening here, we still have to work every day, make our product, and feed, for myself, 90 families, right? At the end of the day, that's what I'm responsible for. So I am always looking at the decisions that are being done and made here, ensuring that, again, in order to grow, access to capital is always the key. I'd like to buy more equipment. I'd like to grow my capacity. I'd like to grow my capability, continue to grow and expand and support the U.S. defense industrial base, and then obviously create jobs that people can be proud of, that people can support their families on. So sometimes I have to stop hearing the noise that is sometimes out there and focus that I just have to continue waking up every morning and making the products that I make and meet the goals and production rates that I have.
Products, people, process, all the P's you gotta nail. Payment, very important in business. The working family tax cut, which was in the big beautiful bill, you mentioned earlier the importance of it, the 199A, the bonus depreciation, the R&D tax cuts. Perhaps the overtime also help your employers. I'm going to move on to Ms. Cool. Could you maybe answer the same question as far as what would you like to see improve from a regulatory government tax standpoint for your business to grow better over the next 5 years?
I would say predictability. We need to be able to plan. For us to invest, buy equipment, hire people. Same thing with my clients. I cannot get commitments on contracts or proposals because they themselves are impacted what may happen tomorrow. So as we're planning to feed our families, to keep our folks employed, to pay for kids' colleges, mortgages, we can't afford to go out and make willy-nilly decisions because tomorrow the rules have changed.
I agree
So
very
being
much.
able to
Thank you.
have predictability it's a priority.
That's very, very important.